Marriage is about love. Divorce is about money. Without the right guidance, critical mistakes can have lasting financial consequences. That is where I come in. My name is Gabriela Martinelli, founder at Ever After Wealth. As a Certified Divorce Financial Analyst, I provide my clients financial clarity, strategic divorce planning, and long-term stability. On this podcast, I am sharing what you need to know about getting through a divorce, protecting your legacy, growing your wealth and assets post-divorce, and figuring it out what you really want in this next stage of life. Let's get started. Welcome back to the Divorce and Money podcast. If you're just joining us today, my name is Gabriela Martinelli. I'm a Certified Divorce Financial Analyst, and I'm the founder at Ever After Wealth. This episode today is for you if you're in the midst of getting separated, if you're considering separation but you're not sure what to do, or if you're maybe trying to go through mediation with your spouse and no attorneys. We're going to discuss why you should call me first, why it would be better off for you to call a CDFA before you call your attorney. A lot of the times for individuals, before you actually make the decision to separate, one of the biggest pieces of the most weight in their lives is the finances. Wondering whether they are going to be able to survive financially, whether they're going to be able to have a roof over their heads. Are their kids going to be okay? Are they going to be okay in retirement? How they are going to survive? So all those questions are overwhelming. If you're in the midst of making this decision, you could call me. As a CDFA, we are trained on analyzing the finances of your marriage, basically. So we can analyze, and I can give you a clear picture of what it could look like if you decide to go through with this separation. I work with a lot of clients that have not even telling their spouses they want to separate. They are just considering. And a lot of them are scared because they don't know what the finances are going to look like. They are afraid that their spouse is going to take most of the money. The business owners are worried about their businesses. A lot of the medical practitioners worry about their practice and how is the divorce going to affect their practice. So I help them understand how everything could look like from the financial point of view. And that sometimes helps them make the decision to either stay and keep trying because they feel like the finances is not a worry anymore, or they decide to move on with the separation and move forward with this situation. The reality of this is like the finances is one of the biggest pieces of your separation. Right. And I always tell individuals or anyone that wants to hear me actually is if you decide to go through this process, or let's say you are separated and you're trying to figure out what are we doing with the finances, the first advice that everybody gets is call an attorney. Well, my advice is if you're in this process right now where you don't know what you're going to do with the money, you're just separated and it's all confusion and overwhelm, I'll say you call me. And this is the reason why. You are going to pick an attorney and or several, right? And you're going to go through all these consultations and you're going to pay $350, $450 to sit down with a professional to ask for advice in your case. The problem with that is that because you don't know really anything about the finances, they can really answer any questions about your case. They are going to explain to you how the law works or what it could or could not happen. For example, I have individuals are like, well, I had this 401k before I got married. We've been married for 15 years, but I know I had X money there. Is that marital or not? Well, I can make that decision, right? I'm not an attorney. I don't give legal advice. However, I can do the tracing. I can bring out the documents that we need. I can create a report. So when you meet with this attorney that charges you $400, you actually give them a report and you say, hey, by the way, I have this account. This is what happened in the account. This is what's in the account when I got married. This is what happened during our marriage. This is where it's right now. And the attorney is going to be able to tell you and identify a portion of that account, whether it's separate money or not, right? That's a legal conclusion. However, they can make a conclusion without the information, and that's what I provide them. So if you are in this mess, rather than going to an attorney and start spending money from the beginning in things that they can respond to you, that they can just give you a general idea of what the law would be, if you come to me, we can create everything that has to do with finances. I can create a strategy for the finances, and I can create the reports, and I can give you all the information that when you go to the attorney, all that is said and done. And they can just incorporate to the strategy, and they can tell you how they can work on a strategy. So just right there, you're saving a lot of money. The other problem I see a lot of the times is the conflict, right? A lot of attorneys, and not all of them, they like the conflict because that's how they make money, right? So they create more conflict that there has to be. And a lot of the times when the finances are very clear, there's not really a lot of conflict between the parties because there's information and everything is accessible. So we can create this. It actually reduces your cost and reduces the conflict. Unless there's domestic violence, unless there's issues with children, right? Because, there may be minor kids and there's issues with visitation or other issues with the children. I can't help with that. You do need an attorney, right? You go to the attorney. But if you're talking about basically finances, figuring it out, your budget, figuring out your lifestyle analysis, I can do all that. I don't really need the attorney as long as we have access to the financial records. I can work through all that with you, and we can delay hiring an attorney until we're ready for the legal strategy to kind of mash up with our financial strategy, and that can get you going. And right there's a lot of savings. And by the way, the insecurity and the conflict and the overwhelm will probably also be reduced because as we start working together, you understand the numbers. You will have the information. And a lot of the uncertainty is because there's a lack of knowledge and a lot of understanding or information. So once you have the information, the uncertainty is a little bit lower, the anxiety is a little bit lower, and we can talk strategy rather than conflict or just keep going without really knowing or understanding where you're going. So make sure you go back and listen to episode 2, where we talk about what do you want, because that's what we are going to analyze together. This is the response what we're gonna reach together. What is that you want? When you go to your attorney and you tell them what you want and what's the strategy financially, they can match that with their legal strategy, and it all works together. If it's too late for you, if you already called the attorney because this advice is coming to you after the fact, you still can call me. Sometimes I work with a lot of clients that are in the process. They've been in the process for months. They've been in the process for years, and they still don't understand the finances. They don't get clear answers from their attorneys. They don't think they have all the documents. They still feel overwhelmed and scared because there's this feeling that there's money that is being hiding or money that is being used for things that we don't know what they are. So you can still call me. So ideally, you will call me before the process. But if you're going through the process and you don't feel that you're getting the answers, and things are not moving forward, that you're not getting the responses you think, in reality, most of the time, the attorneys cannot give you those answers. They are not financial experts. They may be doing their best, but they're still not financial experts. They may have done this for a long time. They may have a lot of experience. They are still not financial experts. So at any point during this process, you can reach out to me. We can start working together. I can find those answers for you, and I can help you clarify the path so we can figure out what you want, but also we can figure out how you get that and what is it you need in order to reach that goal in the best, most efficient, cost-efficient way. Because at the end of the day, when I come in, I actually save you money. When you have a professional reviewing financial records, it saves you money because you don't have a professional that's charging you $400 an hour to review a statement that they may not really know what they're looking at, or they're not looking at it with the lens that I do because I'm a divorce financial expert. So no matter where you are in the process, you can call me. We can work together. I have worked with cases where they were very close to trial after 4 years, and they settle. Because once you bring clarity to the financial issues of divorce, there is no reason why not to settle, but not just settle for what they're offering, but find a resolution in a settlement that serves you into the future, protects your business, protects your practice, protects your financial future and your legacy, but there is a conclusion with a protection and a plan. There's going to be a situation where you tell your attorney or any other professionals that you are willing or trying to work with me or another CDFA, and they will say that you don't need us. When an attorney says that to you, I will be very cautious, because if there is a business to be divided, executive compensation to be analyzed, if there is income that is inconclusive, if there's budgets and lifestyle analysis that needs to be done, and there's a marital state that has to be divided in any way, you cannot do that just with an attorney. You really need us. And when a professional tells another professional at their client that they don't need another professional, I would be very cautious. I had a case. I talked to this lady 2 years ago. She had a very complex situation where we knew the husband was taking money and the husband was shipping money to another country. And there was business interests, different business interests, a lot of movements of money. She came to me. I explained how I could bring clarity. She did not know what she was looking at when she's looking at documents. And I could help her. So next time she went to her attorney and said she wanted to hire me. And the attorney said, no, you don't need to hire her. Everything she does, I can do. And she called me and said, my attorney said she can do everything that you said, so I'm not going to work with you. I'm like, okay, that's okay. I don't think your attorney can do what I can do, but hey, this is your life. That's the other part of this. This is your life. You make your own decisions. 2 years back, last month, she called me. That attorney that told her that she could do everything I could do actually withdrew from her case 6 months later and told her that her case was too complicated and she couldn't handle it anymore. She hired another attorney that for the year and a half was handling everything and told her she didn't need another professional because they could handle their cases because they handle those cases all the time. But now 2 years later, she ran out of money. She doesn't understand where the money is. She can't hire me anymore. Worse of that, she can't hire another attorney. So if she were to work with me, let's say she had the money, we will have to go back, not just back to where she separated, about what happened the last 2 years, right? Because when she had some support, nobody paid attention to the numbers. So we don't know where the money went or where it is. And she's finding herself now. And she did tell me that she was very sorry that she didn't listen to her gut. But it was too late. My advice to you, you know what you need. You know what you need to go through this process. And you deserve all the support that you need, whether it's an attorney and a CDFA, a divorce coach, a therapist, a parenting coordinator, anything that you need, all of the people that are available to you, you know. So please, if you ever feel that you need to work with a professional, do not let another professional dissuade you from it, because at the end of the day, it's going to cost you. It's not going to cost them. This is your life, and you should do what's best for you. There's occasions when I work with medical professionals, especially dentists, and there's certain attorneys, right, that work with high ultra net worth cases around the area. So they know that their clients need professionals. But what happens in that situation is that they hire all the professionals, right? They hire the CDFA, they hire the vocational expert to figure out whether the spouse could get a job or things of that nature. They hire the CPA to talk about taxes. They hire an income specialists to look into potential income, especially because, medical professionals, their income structure is a little different. And I had this case where this individual, he hired me after 4 years and a half. He separated 4 years and a half ago, hired an attorney. His spouse, at this point, ex-spouse, because they went through a divorce in North Carolina, you're allowed to do that. Moved to Florida. They continued their life. But for 4 years and a half, this case was unresolved. They had temporary orders. They were preparing. He called me. He was desperate. Somebody gave him my name. He said, I don't understand what's happening. I don't understand the finances. I'm super smart. I'm a doctor. I have a practice. I need to get this done. It's been 4 years and a half. 4 years and a half of your life is a long time. And because I'm able to see public record in the courthouse records, I noticed that there were experts. And I said, well, you have your experts. And he said, I have not talked to any of those experts once. So I don't know anything about my finances. And that is a problem because these attorneys are hiring the experts that they want to hire because they are preparing their strategy just about the legal way. And the experts are going to come in and bring what they need to make their legal strategy work. But that doesn't mean it works for you as an individual. I work with him. We work for 6 months. I review everything in their marital estate. We had a proposal. His attorney did not know I worked with him. I worked behind the lines. We started sending proposals back and forth. He settled. He settled before going to trial. He settled 5 months after we started working together. And he settled understanding what he's getting. It's not the best possible way, but it's the best for him that he can do it after 4 years and a half of money wasted in a lot of professionals, in legal experts that actually did not accomplish anything, and they was just preparing for a trial that was getting to them at some point. So that's the other part of this is if your attorney is hiring the experts, but they're not talking to you, they are not working for you. The experts have to work for you. I attended mediation with a client. Deposition with a client, and he really wanted me to be there to support his attorney. Of course, I don't do anything. I'm not an attorney. I don't give legal advice, but he wanted me to be sitting there while the attorney is asking questions in case something financial came up. This is a dependent spouse. We knew that there was going to be some alimony potentially to be paid. My client's attorney, he asked to the spouse, "Do you ask for alimony?" She responded, "Yes." She said, "I need to keep my lifestyle." The attorney said, "Okay, great. Next question. How much money do you need?" She looked at her attorney, didn't answer. Attorney repeated the question. If you don't know how the position works, it's just an attorney asking you questions. "How much money do you need?" She looked at her attorney. And the attorney said, "Don't you need how much money? Do you know how much money you need?" And she said, "My attorney hired someone to do my budget." And so the attorney asked again, "Okay, well, how much money you need?" "I don't know." So the only reason I bring this up is because it didn't affect my client, but I really feel bad for her because she clearly was paying a lot of money to an expert that had not had a conversation with her about her budget, about how much money she needed. That is important. When you're going through this process, whether you are the spouse paying the alimony or the spouse that is going to receive the alimony, your budget is like one of the most important things that you're going to create. And my clients create it with me. I go through bank statements, I go through credit cards, but then we're going to sit down and we're going to look at how much money you spend. You probably have to clarify some of the things, but at the end of the day, when we're done and someone asks my client, "How much money do you need?" they will have an answer because I'm working with my client. Because I am the expert that works with the clients. Yes, I work with the attorneys. Yes, we work as a team. I work with excellent attorneys all the time. But my strategy, converse with theirs, we create a one whole strategy that has both portions, but my clients are informed every step of the way. So not just call a CDFA when you're going through this process or before you go through the process. Also understand that if your attorney is hiring the experts they want to hire, they are not working for you. And you deserve the experts that work for you and that actually talk to you about your case. Because this is your life. This is your life. If you need more information, please go to my website, everafterwealth.com. You can learn about me. You can schedule a call. You can send me a direct message. Let's talk about you. Let's talk about your case. Let's talk about what you want and how I can help you. I'll see you next time. Thank you so much for listening to the podcast. If you're going through a separation or divorce, please contact me through my website at everafterwealth.com. I would love to be a resource and partner as you navigate this season and prepare for your financial future. I'll see you in the next episode.